부산에서 누리는 모든 것을 사랑하는 그는 부산의 변함없는 한대에 늘 감탄합니다.
I think that Busan people are actually very, very kind and very welcoming. If I seemed a little lost, there was always someone that was there to ask me if I needed help. They're more seriously friendly than it's very serious. I very seriously want to help you.
부산의 한결같은 모습도 늘 감동을 주지만 이제는 부산의 미래를 꿈꾸며 2030년 부산의 새로운 도약을 기대합니다.
Busan people are very proud of their city. They want to share the city with everyone. If we get the World Expo, it'll really put Busan on a global map.
세계 박람회가 어울리는 도시, 미래를 향한 힘찬 도약. 부산에서 출발한 파도는 이미 세계를 향해 뻗어나가고 있습니다. 2030 부산 세계 박람회. 부산이 시작하고 대한민국이 함께 이뤄갑니다. 이 캠페인은 지역과 함께하는 든든한 동반자 BNK 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Coming up next is Inside Out Busan with Laura McLucky and Minsu Shin. BFM 부산영어방송.
Hello to all of our listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. You are tuned into Inside Out Busan. Happy Thursday. You know, everybody has their own ID card. When was the last time you took your photo for an ID card? 10 years ago? 20 years ago? Or even more?
Oof, the resident registration card held by all Koreans does not have an expiration date, allowing people to carry decades-old ID cards, but not anymore.
That's right. The government is going to require everybody to renew their personal ID cards every 10 years.
Is this really you? 이거 본인 맞아요? If you've ever heard it, it's time to update your photo.
Please.
나는 말 부탁해. 아이고.
여름아 부탁해 나의 사랑을 이루게 해줘 많이 힘겨웠던 나의 지난 추억 버리게 다시 찾아온 해변에서 비키니를 입은 그녀를 만난 후 나의 인생이 달라져서 한여름의 sunset 석양빛이 황홀한 도시의 거리 뜨거운 태양의 검게 그린 그녀를 사귀고 싶어 긴 머리에 눈이 부신 그대가 좋아 나에 대해 정말 알고 싶지 않나요 그대를 가질 수 있다면 담배라도 끊겠어요 Wow baby 바다에 반짝이는 하늘의 별빛 흔들리는 파도의 노랫소리 그대를 느끼고 싶어 Oh beautiful lady 조금만 더 기다려 이대로 나를 떠나지 마요 아직 사랑하기 전엔 헤어지면 안 돼요 그대 사는 곳 어디인지 날 어떻게 생각하시는지 화장 안 한 그대 얼굴을 만져보고 싶어 모래 위
Indigo, 여름아 부탁해 to start off our show. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Inside Out Busan, the first hour of our program. I am Min Shin.
And I'm Melissa Peterson, filling in for Laura all week.
Melissa, how is your Thursday going?
My Thursday is going pretty good. No complaints. It's not dark and gray like it was yesterday.
Yes.
So, when you wake up and there's sunshine, you feel like, oh, yay, it got a little dark later on. But then you're already awake.
Right.
So that's fine.
Nah.
Yeah.
So it was more like a rather cool summer day, I think. We'll have more deets on, what went down in terms of weather. But yeah, it was a nice summer day today.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And not as humid as last night. Last night was so humid. I thought, woof, tomorrow is going to be a scorcher, but actually not that bad.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And this is, my dream. If it was like summer the whole time for the next couple of months, if it was just like this, the weather that we're having, it would just fill my heart with happiness
딱 맞아요.
and warmth.
Yes,
근데 이렇지
so
않을
perfect.
거잖아요. 맞아요. Well, we all hope you are enjoying your summer days, listeners. So, if you were to take a look at your ID card, let's say your 주민등록증 or maybe your driver's license, would you look at it and go, who is this person on my card? 저는
So sad.
저는 볼 때마다 너무 잘생겼다 compared to me right now, right? Because I took my photo ages ago. Like,
Oh, really?
On my driver's license, it had to be 7, 8 years ago because that's the last time I renewed it, right?
okay.
So, with pictures being very outdated on a lot of people's ID cards, the government is going to plan to require everybody to renew their personal ID cards every 10 years.
Yeah, that's right. The 7 national IDs that fall under the requirement will be resident registration cards, alien registration cards, driver's licenses, passports, patriot and veterans cards, disability registration cards, and youth cards.
Yeah, so all the official cards, right?
Yes.
Needed by the government. So all photos on these IDs, those IDs that Melissa just mentioned, the official 3.5 centimeters wide and 4.5 centimeters high. So it's the same photo size as passports.
Right. So you can just go to the photo studio and say passport size photo, right?
맞아요. 네.
But with these new photo requirements, we need to know, how can we take a good ID card photo or passport
Yeah, because
photo?
on a lot of these official documents, and official cards, they're like the pictures. They can't be like too filtered and too photoshopped, right?
And you can't smile, and you
Yes.
have to show your ears,
Yeah,
and you
and
can't
like your eyebrows.
Right. There's so many rules. So many rules.
네.
So some tips include wearing a dark colored shirt, showing off your jawline instead of your double chin. So the easiest way to do this is to move your chin forward.
Yes, stick
an
your
inch.
stick your head out just a little bit.
Yeah, stick it out just a little bit, not too much, because
네.
that would be a problem also. Remove your hair from your face and avoid wearing jewelry because the reflection could cause a glare in the photo.
Yeah, so keep these in mind as a lot of people, with the government now requiring most people to update their photos on their ID cards every 10 years. You might have to take a picture soon, right?
Yes.
I recently got our daughter's ID photo taken because she's going to need a passport soon.
Oh, exciting.
So we took her to the photo studio. It took a good 15 minutes for her to just to look at the lens in the camera.
Because it's so picky, like the head alignment.
Yeah, not
right,
only the
in
head
in
alignment.
the photo.
My daughter, I don't want to call it a problem. She's not yet well versed at looking at the camera when taking pictures.
Oh, I
Right?
see.
She does and I know some, like grandpas, because a couple of my relatives do this. Whenever we take a picture, they never look at the camera.
Really?
They always look off to the side for some reason.
Oh.
That's why whenever I take a picture of my relatives that I know don't look at the camera too well, I go 1, 2, because you're looking at the camera at 1, 2, and then right at 3 they look away, but I take the picture at 2.
Smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah, so listeners, that's something to keep in mind if you have somebody in your amongst your family and friends that don't like to look at the camera. So, question for you, 우리 청취자 여러분들. So, take out your ID card right now. If you can, if it's safe to do so. If you're driving, don't do it. But if you're at home, maybe you're on the bus, real quick, take out your ID card and look at the photo on the card and ask yourself, when did you last take, or when did you take that photo?
Right?
Is it recent? Does it look similar to what you look right now? Because like I said, for me, I don't know who the handsome guy is in my ID.
Well, I love it. We just got in a Kakao Talk message from Fred Neem,
네.
and I can tell he took his photo recently because he's wearing a mask. So, COVID era precautions.
그쵸. So it's
you
like-
sometimes had to keep
Yeah.
your mask on for the photo. And Fred Neem, nice. Nicely
So
done.
probably for Fred Neem in the last, at least around 3 years, right?
right?
That's probably when he took it.
Yeah.
네, 지금부터 될 수 있으면 가능하면요 신분증을 꺼내시고요 주민등록증이나 안 그러면 면허증 보고 그 찍힌 사진은 언제적 사진입니까? Let us know. We want to know how old your photos are on your IDs. Shop 9050 pound 9050 for text messages. It will cost you 100 won. You could let us know on our Kakao Talk or you could let us know on our YouTube. We are live broadcasting over there as well. Let's get to today's News Bites. Time for News Bites. We have Annie here in the studio with us. Hello, Annie.
Hello.
Hi,
I was
hi.
waiting till I was on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm here.
It's because it's me manning the board
Yeah.
as well as the camera.
Missy needs about 2 more arms.
I need just one more would help. One more, right?
Two's better than one.
How are we doing today?
I'm pretty good today, actually. I'm
Good.
surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. Good to
I'm just
know.
thinking about my ID card. And
Oh yeah. So whatever ID card that comes to mind, when was the last time you took the photo for that one?
I think I was like 18.
18?
Okay. So it's been
10 years ago.
2 years.
Oh, wait.
I hear
not 10
10, I hear 2. It's that's an 8-year gap, right?
4 years ago.
Yeah, 4
Okay, 4 years.
All right.
There we go.
Let's meet in the middle,
Yes.
4 years ago. So not too long for you though, right?
Yeah, but I think I look different.
Oh.
Are you sure? Is it just like hairstyle or is it actually
Hairstyle's pretty much the same. I think
Okay.
just my hair, like where I part my hair, changed, but she's young.
Yeah.
She's young.
Okay.
I know.
She's fresh out of high school.
Aw. Yeah, because I look at mine, I was like, oh, those were the days,
She
right?
doesn't have bags.
어떡해, Annie. You gotta get some good rest, all right?
Yeah.
Good sleep.
I'm trying.
All right, well, let's get to today's News Bites. News Bites. What do you got for us?
A bit of a sad one to start with. So I wrote ghost children. It doesn't actually mean ghost. It says 유령 아동. So yesterday there was news of 2 unregistered babies that were found dead inside of a refrigerator over in Suwon. In 2018 and 2019 respectively, the mother had strangled the babies a day after giving birth to them and basically just stored them in her refrigerator for however many years. There was record of a birth at the maternity hospital that she went to. However, no record of actual legal like birth registration at your 동사무소. So this has spurred quite deep concern about other unregistered children and their current status. In a regular audit by the Ministry of Health and Welfare since back in March, the Board of Audit and Inspection said that there were 2,236 births that were not officially registered over a period of 8 years from 2015.
That's quite a lot. I recently
lot.
read this news too. Broke my heart, but
Yeah.
with the concern of ghost children, because if they're unregistered, they're unaccounted for. That means, they're not getting the needed support as well as checkups,
Right.
even by the government that they need, right? So what are officials going to do, when it comes to finding these ghost children?
Right. So from these cases, actually, officials selected 20. So from these, I mean the 2,200 plus cases. Officials selected 23 cases. This included those who did not register their children, even though they were old enough to go to school. So they were like, "Where are these children?" Those who refused contact for no reason, just avoided calls, and guardians who did not register for more than 2 births, just to check up on these children. And even before the investigation was over, they found 1 case of death and 2 cases of abandonment. And officials want to have the hospitals bear the responsibility of registering the births. Currently, it's on the parents. However, there is opposition because it's quite a heavy burden on the hospital employees as well as a lot of workload because there
yeah.
are many babies being born.
Yeah.
Well, not as many as we want. They also fear that pregnant women will try to avoid hospitals and have unsafe births just to go undetected.
right?
Yeah, so it seems like, they do have to try to figure out a system, a method that's going to work with all sides, right? Not just the hospitals, not just the nurses, but also, expecting mothers.
And I understand the hospital's position on this as well, because it is a lot. It should be on the parents, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I mean, they'll figure out a balance, right?
Yeah, something that, might have continued to be overlooked, but thank you so much for bringing this back to light, the issue with ghost children here in Korea. Let's get to our next bit of news.
Right. This is in terms of the minimum wage. So the labor sector has demanded 26.9% increase. So during a pre-plenary session conference today, the labor sector demanded next year's minimum wages to increase by 26.9%. That's up to 12,210 won. The current minimum wage, for those who are not familiar with it, is 9,621. And with the increase, the monthly wage would go up to 2.55 million won. That's based on 209 working hours per month. So the members representing workers cited boosting domestic consumption through a minimum wage increase, reflecting the cost of living of workers' households through a minimum wage increase, and also resolving worsening wage inequality, and lastly, minimum wage workers' actual wages decreasing due to the expansion of scope of inclusion as reasons for the increase.
Okay. Wow. So you said 26.9% increase in wages. That's the goal for next year. That is a very specific number. How did they come up with this 12,210 won number?
Right. There was calculation. So the appropriate living cost for next year, converted into consumer price forecasts, is 14,465 won. So the average ratio of labor income to ordinary income of working households is 84.4%. So 84.4% of 14,465 won is 12,210 won.
Okay.
Yes, I hope you followed that.
Yes.
The management sector, though, has yet to announce their minimum wage demands. And at that point, the minimum wage commission will have to work to narrow this gap between each sector's demands. And the formal announcement should come by August 5th.
Okay, so August 5th, they will decide if
Yes.
it will, in fact, be 12,210 won, or perhaps they will come up with a slightly different number.
Right, we'll have to see how they can meet.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, everything else is going up, right? In terms of just prices of
Cost of living.
Groceries, oil, gas, transportation, everything going up. It might help if the minimum wage goes up as well. That's just my thought, of course. Let's move on to our last bit of news.
Right, did you know next year there's going to be 366 days?
Oh.
Not 365. So the Ministry of Science and ICT announced the calendar data for 2024 today. So for those on a 5-day work week schedule, like a lot of us, you will get a total of 119 days off.
What?
Yeah, which is actually 2 more days than this year. This year we actually get 117.
Oh, wait, that's only 2 more than...
Yeah.
It
and if you
sounds
think
like a
about
lot.
it,
I know.
leap year, there's an extra day, so it's kind of like one extra day.
Now okay. Is that better? Is it okay?
I'll take
Let's
anything.
go with good.
I'll take anything.
Vacation.
Yes.
Yeah, so the longest national holiday, you might like this one, is Chuseok. That's from September 14th to the 18th. So that's 5 consecutive days off in total.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. And 2024 is also a leap year. So yeah, as I said, there is an extra day in February.
Okay, so this might be good news for those, looking forward to the vacation
Right, you
days.
can plan.
Do you have details on just, what the holidays are going to look like next year?
Yes. I mean, you can all check your calendars for this as well,
Yeah.
but it's fun to hear, right? There are, as we know, 52 Sundays, 52 Saturdays, and then we also get 14 days off for holidays. That's excluding the overlap.
Oh, okay. Good.
The 22nd National Assembly elections are also included as a holiday. That's April 10th.
네.
There are also 5 holidays with 3 or more consecutive days off.
Ooh.
So quite long ones. So the first one is New Year's. That's from December 30th though. So I don't know if that counts. 설, 3.1절, and then Children's Day. So those are all your long ones.
Yes.
And for those interested, there's also Chuseok, sorry. For those interested, you can find the details over on the Korea Astronomy and Space Yes, sorry, that was very long. Korea Astronomy and Space Science Institute's website.
Yeah. I'm liking that news, right? Just
Very
if it
much.
means more days off, I don't know if we're guaranteed more days off here at the studio because we gotta,
we can try.
we gotta do the live shows, but still good news for all, just most workers out there, I think.
Yeah, we'll
right?
stick around for our listeners.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Annie, for just the headlines and, of course, with that last bit of news, probably putting a smile on a lot of people's faces. Looking forward to 2024.
That'd be good for a Thursday.
Yeah. Take care. We'll see you back here for a Friday show. Okay.
Yeah, be back tomorrow.
Bye. This is I Am.
열어 따라갈 필요는 없어 넌 너의 길로 난 나의 길로 하루하루마다 색이 달라진 느낌 밝게 빛이 나는 길을 찾아 I'm on my way 넌 그냥 믿으면 돼 I'm on my way 보이는 그대로야 모든 그의 dreams come true 제일 좋은 어느 날의 there's a view 머물고픈 어딘가의 낯선 view I'll be far away That's my life it's 아름다운 galaxy Be alright 날 장르로는 fantasy 매일에게 열리는 건 big big stage So that is who I am Look at me, look at me, look at me now 어제랑 또 다른 짜릿한 나 두려운 모든 게 설레게 I'm sky high, oh my god 사소한 건 다 아득해져 wow. Look at me now, look at me now I'm on fire 넌 그냥 믿으면 돼 I'm on my way 보이는 그대로야 모든 그의 dreams come true 제일 좋은 어느 날의 there's a view 머물고픈 어딘가의 낯선 view I'll be far away That's my life it's 아름다운 galaxy Be alright 날 장르로는 fantasy 내일에게 열리는 건 big big stage So that is who I am 어느 깊은 밤 길을 잃어도 차라리 날아올라 그럼 내가 지나가는 대로 길이거든 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, fire I hope you be so my dreams come true 제일 작은 어느 날의 데자뷰 머물고픈 어딘가의 낯선 view I'll be far away That's my life it's 아름다운 galaxy Be alright 날 장르로는 fantasy 내일에게 열리는 건 big big stage So that is who I am
I with I Am. Welcome to the first hour of Inside of Busan. Thank you so much for joining us, hanging out with us wherever you are. I am Min Shin.
And I am Melissa Peterson, again, in for Laura all this week.
So we talked a little bit about the weather, how it was hot yesterday, it was muggy yesterday, but then today was a little okay, right?
Right, not
so
bad.
Details, right? A bit more exact information that we have for our listeners, as well as with the traffic. Right now, 25 degrees here in Busan. When it comes to the weather tomorrow, expect a morning low of 21 and an afternoon high of 28. So today is Tano, and it's considered to be one of the major, I guess, traditional days. Some people dub it as a holiday, but because since long time ago, on this day, Tano, farmers got to have a short break after rice planting. And this is a day that they also wish for a fruitful harvest, right? So a very meaningful day in terms of, how they celebrated in the long ago days of Korea.
Right.
Tomorrow, as I mentioned, 28 degrees, that's going to be the high. The daytime temperatures will rise and it will be hot. So do keep that in mind. 오늘은 모내기를 끝내고 풍년을 기원하는 날 단오였는데요. 내일 부산은 낮 기온이 올라 다시 무더워지겠습니다. 그래서 여러분 네, 꼭 건강 잘 챙기시고요. What does our traffic look like?
So for our traffic, we do have congestion on 충렬대로 from Alak Underpass going towards Dongdae Junction.
네.
There is also congestion on Dongsa Overpass from Jinyang Bangum Tunnel going towards Jinyang Junction. It is also slow going on Nakdong-bukdo from Daesang Overpass or Underpass, going towards Gupo-daegyo Bridge.
네.
So wherever you are driving, please drive safe.
네, 부탁드립니다. Real quick, we have a couple messages coming in on our Kakao Talk. We have a message that came in from Hisung님. Do you want to read that real quick?
Oh, yes. So our message from Hisuk-nim saying, seeing a frog on the way to the park. And it's a beautiful, is it gravel? It looks like a gravel
gravel
path.
dirt road.
And it's not crowded at all. And there's beautiful greenery on both sides. And then we see a close-up of a little teeny tiny cute little frog.
네, 희수님 이 녀석 귀엽네요. Melissa, why did the frog cross the road?
Was there a chicken restaurant on the other side?
I don't know. I didn't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
Just
Something
thought
to
of it.
ponder.
네, maybe 희수님 could tell us, where was the frog going, right? Did you help the little buddy?
Oh, maybe
get
there
to
was
his
a
destination?
pond
Maybe.
on the other side.
Right. Miss Nim commenting on today's text topic because we were asking our listeners to look at their ID card, maybe 주민등록증, and tell us when or how long ago you took that photo. Miss Nim saying, I took a picture of my driver's license 15 years ago.
Okay, it's been a minute.
Yeah, I didn't have much gray hair then, so I guess compared to these days,
Okay.
right? Miss Nim, if you took it 15 years ago, it's quite a while. Yeah. Time for you to maybe renew your driver's license too.
Maybe, but sometimes depending on when you renew,
Yeah.
if you hit the timing right, during coronavirus, they let you just keep the same picture, even in the United States.
Oh,
So
okay.
my driver's license photo is also very old because due to coronavirus, couldn't go to the US, couldn't renew my license. So they just said, did anything change? No. Okay, just everything stays the same.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Something to maybe look up and keep in mind. We have lots of messages also coming in our YouTube. We will get to them in just a bit, but time for today's 5분 상식.
It's time for IOB 5분 상식, getting you in the know of some of the most trending, useful, need-to-know words and expressions. 5분만 들이면 유식해지는 시간이죠.
네, 오늘의 5분 상식은요. 최근 한국에서도 제기된 빈집세란 이게 무엇일까요?
Is this a haunted house? Is anybody there?
Oh, visitor! What brings you to my haunted abode, mere mortal? Who dares enter my sweet home uninvited?
I heard it's been an empty house for 50 years. So from now on, this house is mine.
Nonsense, visitor! I've been haunting this house for centuries. I've been scaring people here so long, even before you existed.
Well, I'm not scared of no ghosts.
Oh, you think you could just kick me out? This is my eternal residence. 여긴 내 집이라고. Get out, get out.
Ghost, look, I don't mean any harm. Technically, since no one owns this house, I'll take over this place for free.
Oh, come on, man. That's ridiculous. See, I can pass through the walls. 이건 내 집이라고. Ooh.
It's mine.
네, 세무서에서 나왔습니다. 보자. Let's see. We have one ghost and one homeless person. Who owns this house? 둘 중 누가 주인이십니까? Because we do need you to pay the vacant home tax. 빈집세를 내세요. 당장.
Not me. You.
Not me. You. No, you are the new owner now. Not
You said
me.
you're the
No
owner.
way. 아이고 빈집세, not even a ghost wants to pay.
Yeah.
Right? This vacant home tax.
They don't have any pockets to keep their money in.
그쵸, right?
Yeah.
So in rural areas of Korea, there's this growing problem of increasing vacant homes that are being very neglected. So this is an issue not only concerned within our country, I'm sure a lot of other countries are experiencing this. 자, 그렇다면 빈집세란 대체 무엇입니까?
Right. 빈집세 is VHT, short for Vacant Homes Tax. VHT is an annual tax that applies to residential properties in use as a dwelling for less than 30 days in a 12-month billing period. It charges a specific tax for property owners whose properties are unused or underused and thus creates a financial penalty for letting properties sit empty. So, for example, in Vancouver, the VHT is set at 1% of the property's assessed value.
Okay. Then why is the vacant home tax system necessary, Melissa?
It is implemented to address housing affordability, reduce neglected vacant houses, and encourage the utilization of housing stock. So it can also generate revenue for local governments that can be used for housing initiatives and public services.
Yeah, so maybe not only here in Korea, but maybe around the world, to give you a better idea, what cities around the world are imposing tax on vacant homes?
Other major cities, including Paris, Sydney, Vancouver, Oakland, California, and cities in England, are imposing financial penalties on empty housing units.
네.
Most recently, Spain introduced a national vacancy tax as part of its new right to housing law. Kyoto is also going to introduce Japan's first empty homes tax. So recently, Korea has also suggested introducing a VHT as a means to kind of renovate vacant houses in rural areas.
Yeah. So VHT, vacant home tax, 빈집세라고 하는데요. 줄여서 VHT입니다. 집을 비우고 방치하는 경우 주택 소유자에게 부과하는 세금이라고 합니다. But we have a message that came in from Claire-님 on our YouTube saying, your ghost impersonation is great. Why, thank you, Claire-님. I honestly think it could be a little better. I wasn't scared.
Well, we're always able to improve, but it was a nice ghost. You're a very nice ghost.
근데 토끼님 saying good acting DJs. 그 집 제가 사줘. 얼마면 되겠어요? 우리 토끼님 귀신이 같이 있어도 괜찮습니까? 왜냐면 저는 안 나갈 것 같아요. Right, 토끼님, if you're okay with just me kind of, hanging out, even though you buy the house, I'm down. Right? To have a
If you're
roommate.
friendly, maybe you're a friendly
Maybe,
ghost.
right?
Yeah.
네, 오늘의 5분 상식이었습니다. 김대리, 퇴근하나?
예, 부장님.
집이 교회종이지? 같은 방향인데 같이 가지? 요즘 회사 생활 어떤가?
예, 저 열심히 잘하고 있습니다.
결혼 생활도 재밌지?
예, 뭐 즐겁죠, 예. 그 라디오라도 좀.
그래, 라디오.
네가 저번 주에 온 신참인 것 같네.
22번 홀림병!
진짜 회사 생활 쉽지 않다. 어색한 이 순간 인사이드 아웃 부산과 함께하세요. 오늘은
The Insider X.
Time for the Insider X. We have HK님 back here in the studio. 안녕하세요, HK님.
안녕하세요. Hello
안녕하세요.
guys. Good to see you again. I'm HK.
Yes, hi. A big wave to everybody on our YouTube as well. HK just gave. 우리 아주 잘생긴 멋진 공무원이 저희와 함께합니다. HK님, did you see the messages from last week on our YouTube?
Yeah, sure. I'm really satisfied with that message. And my friends told me that you ordered your teammates to write that kind of comments for me.
We from our side?
Yes.
Oh no, I don't. It was not from our side.
Never.
It
We
was
would never
fans.
engage in that kind of trickery.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It was fans, because they wanted to comment on you always being so well dressed. 근데 퇴근하고 여기 바로 오시잖아요, right?
Yes, right.
We like to imagine you just always wearing that suit. Okay.
It's like a James Bond
I know.
suit.
그 여기
Really.
우리 세그먼트랑 딱 맞는 outfit입니다. So glad to have you here, HK. So we take this segment to kind of dive into what Busan City is planning it because it all comes from a person on the inside. Too. So what are we talking about today?
Today's really important topic is, I think, it's the most important topic right now in Busan. It's about Expo.
Yes, definitely. Everyone's so excited about the expo. We just had an event not too long ago about that.
Right. This week, the fourth presentation was in Paris. So today I want to talk about fourth presentation and also how, Expo 2030 will change our city and citizens' life.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So as always, we like to start off with a story, right?
Okay.
Shall we?
Sure. 저는 2030 엑스포 유치를 바라는 부산 시민입니다. 이번에 프랑스 파리에서 엑스포 4차 PT가 열렸다는데 어떤 내용이었는지 그리고 엑스포 유치는 언제 결정되는 건지 궁금합니다. 마지막으로 엑스포 유치가 되면 부산 시민의 삶에 어떤 도움을 주는지도 궁금합니다.
All right, HK님, could you maybe introduce this story in English for our listeners?
Yeah, she's a Busan citizen who sincerely wanted to host Expo 2030 in Busan. She heard this week, fourth competitive presentation was held in Paris. So she wondered about this event and also when the whole city of Expo 2030 will be decided and also how Expo can change our daily life in Busan.
Yeah, because Expo is such a huge event, right? It's a big world international event, and it could bring so much change for the better for the host city.
Right.
Yeah, I think every citizen already know about that. And I'm also really looking forward to talking about this issue because it's really important.
Yeah.
And also, last year, I worked for bid committee for Expo, which is in Seoul. And at that time, I was in charge of making candidate dossier, 유치 계획서.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of master plan of Expo. So I really want to talk about this topic.
Oh.
Wow. So I didn't know about all the specs you have, all of your experience here. So you definitely are an expert to talk about this. So let's jump right in with the details.
Yeah, firstly, I want to briefly introduce about the fourth competitive presentation, which was held in Paris this Tuesday.
네.
Bureau International des Expositions, BIE, 국제박람회 기구, held General Assembly 2 times a year, especially in June and November. In General Assembly, every candidate for hosting Expo can make a presentation to BI member countries. So we called this one as a competitive presentation. This one, the 172nd General Assembly was held in Paris this Tuesday, and it was the fourth presentation for candidates of Expo 2030. The reason why we, put emphasis this event so much is in General Assembly, all of 179 BI member countries usually attend. So it's really a good opportunity to show our differentiated vision of Busan Expo.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best opportunities for any country, to present what their city has, what the country has, and what their city has in terms of being able to host the expo. But so with this presentation, the past one being the fourth and final one, so in the middle, I've been doing my best to keep up with expo news and what our city is doing, but there were a lot of presentations going on, so it might have been a little confusing for people like me. But, after listening to your explanation, I do have a better grip on it. So tell us, how was the presentation?
Yeah, I think everyone already know about, they watch it on YouTube or heard about the news.
Yeah.
And I also watched it and it was so amazing. Firstly, famous K-pop celebrity Psy was our first presenter, and she showed, very clearly about the power of K contents.
Yeah.
Gangnam Style.
맞아요.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody know about Gangnam Style, and secondly, Jin Yang-gyo, professor of Hongik University,
네.
he was the second presenter, and he showed clear vision of our site, Busan Northport area, because currently Busan Northport redevelopment project is ongoing,
네.
and because of that, our site will be perfectly eco-friendly.
Yeah.
So it means Busan Expo will be a byword of eco-friendly expo in history.
Yeah, being eco-friendly, and promoting to carbon neutrality. This is something that is a great concern of the whole world because climate change, global warming. This is a huge issue that
Right.
all countries are trying to tackle together. So. Eco-friendly expo. This could definitely be a way to differentiate our city with the other cities in competition.
Right. And also, Lee Soo-in, CEO and co-founder of education technology company Enuma. She was the third presenter and emphasized ODA programs of Busan
네.
and also introduced details about Busan initiative, this kind of strategy of our ODA program.
Okay.
And I think everyone already know the highlight of our presentation was President Yoon Suk-yeol
Yeah.
gave a speech as the last presenter. He strongly emphasized the message that we already know Busan is ready to host the Expo 2030. And also he emphasized that Korean government will do everything to guarantee the success of Expo in Busan.
Yes, right. I was watching this on TV, and I know that President Yoon Suk-yeol, he does speak English, but I wasn't sure for this important
Right.
presentation.
Yeah.
Korean, English, he did choose English. I think probably impressed, hopefully, all
Yeah.
of the people in the BIE.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to show the Korean government's really strong desire to host this expo.
Right.
I know, to have a president of a country take the stage, right?
Right.
To put also his effort to try to bring the expo. It's got to be like this huge signal to all the other BIA member countries that Korea and
Right.
Busan really wants the expo.
Right. And also, Mayor of Busan Park Hyung-jun and the owners of conglomerates Samsung, SK, Hyundai, LG also participated at that presentation. So
네.
clearly show our strong will about hosting Expo in Busan.
Yeah, I don't know. So I saw pictures of it on various news media sites as well. Saw clips of President Yoon giving his speech. It was. I felt proud that the whole country is working together, and I think it really sends a really strong message to the BIA member countries just how much our country and our government, as well as Busan City, really wants to host the expo, right? And I'm a firm believer that Korea and Busan can bring the expo here.
Definitely.
So I guess what's next? I'm sure a lot of our listeners are curious. When will they pick the host city for the expo?
I think many listeners wonder about it.
Yeah.
This was 172nd General Assembly, and in November of this year, 173rd General Assembly will be held. And in that meeting, a fifth competitive presentation will be held. And right after that, 179 BI member countries will participate a vote for choosing host city of Expo 2030.
Nah. So we gotta wait till November then, right?
Right,
Then the
November.
host city of the expo will be
Yeah.
decided.
Yeah, right. Currently, host city, it currently candidates for Expo 2030 is 3 countries.
네.
I think everyone already know. Busan,
Of course.
Riyadh of Saudi Arabia, Rome of Italy. And in first vote, among 3 candidates, if anyone can get 2/3 of votes, then this one will be directly elected.
Automatic.
Yeah. But
Okay.
if no one get that amount of votes, then the least, the country which get the least will be dropped, and
Okay.
second vote will go on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And in second vote, there will be only 2 candidates. So it's very clear that candidates who get more votes will be elected as a host city of 2030 World Expo.
Okay. So just simple most votes,
Yeah.
not like a set number we need, just most votes.
For the second
Right.
round,
For
if
the
it
se-
goes
for
to
the
the second
second
round.
round, yes.
I see. So yeah, Busan, I mean, I am pretty confident that our city has what it takes to host the World Expo, but I just hope that other countries, other BI member countries see the same. And I think it's the will, it's a desire of Busan City as well as citizens. And I'm sure, all of our listeners, we do want to, make Busan's and our dreams come true to host the expo.
Sure, absolutely. I'm also a citizen of Busan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to host expo in here, and it's absolutely the most important project of Busan right now.
맞아요. So we talked a little bit about how the expo might be such a good thing for the host city, right? So share with our listeners, how can the expo change Busan, even our daily lives? How will it change?
Sure. I think listeners already well known about expo itself, but don't know exactly why it is so good for Busan. So I will briefly introduce about it. Firstly, about economic impacts. During expo periods, 34.8 million people will visit Busan and creating 61 trillion won of economic value. 61조 원.
That's a lot.
It's approximately $46.3 billion. So, and also it can create approximately 500,000 jobs in Korea.
Yeah.
The economic value, that's higher. Maybe I should be embarrassed to say that. That is higher than I can even count in Korean.
그래 말이야.
That is, wow, that is
Lots
a
of zeros.
shocking economic value. And that, we have, less than 4 million people here. But this would bring an additional 34.8 million. That's huge. That's a huge impact.
Right.
These are very big numbers. So Expo 2030 definitely has a lot of momentum for economic growth.
Sure. And also important thing is Expo can be a momentum of Busan to be a global hub city because it's directly connected with construction of Gadok New Airport, Busan Northport redevelopment, Bulgyeong Mega City, etc. So it can be a momentum to be a Busan, to be a global hub city.
Yeah, especially with, you mentioned the Gadok New Airport, that's something that's going to not only make people coming to Busan for the World Expo lives, comfortable, but just citizens in general. You don't have to go all the way to Incheon anymore to go to other countries.
Exactly right. Yeah. And also, important thing is it's good for Korea. It can be a chance to be a global leading country because World Expo is 3 major mega events with Olympics and World Cup.
네.
Right.
And if Busan hosts Expo, then Korea will be the 7th country to host all these 3 mega events.
Yeah.
The other 6 countries are France, US, Canada, Japan, Germany, Italy. Yeah, as you can see the list, these are all advanced and global leading country.
맞습니다.
So, successfully hosting this event means we can show our ability to host this kind of event. And also we have enough content to attract the globe. So it can be directly, chance to be a Korea as a global leading country.
Yeah. Oh, with your explanation, it makes me look forward to even more for Busan City to host the expo. We have Curry님 on our YouTube saying, I hope it brings a boost to our economy here in Busan. According to HK님,
Sure.
it definitely will. Yeah. So HK님, thank you for your very detailed explanation of just the schedule of the expo right now and what we can look forward to as a city and a country to the expo.
Oh, you're welcome. And every week, I'm so glad that I can introduce city's policy and I have this kind of chance to meet you guys. So I'm really happy and I look forward to meet you guys in next Thursday again.
Of course. Same here. HK님, thank you so much for all your hard work today. Have a good week, okay?
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Well, Melissa, that'll do it for the first hour
Yes,
of our
it will.
show. We have more show coming up at 7 o'clock. Stay tuned. In the meantime, this is Silk Sonic with Skate. See you back here at 7.
In a room full of dimes, you would be $100. If being fine was a crime, girl, they like your little fine up in the tower. The way you move like you do, ooh, it's like you do it for a living. Do a little spin, do it again. Look like you play for the win, oh baby. I'm tryna roll, I'm tryna ride. I'm tryna float, I'm tryna glide. No, don't be shy. Just take my hand and hold on tight. Oh, skate to me, baby. Skate. Slide your way on over. Slide your way on over. Skate to me, baby. and a barbecue. A superstar is what you are. I'm your biggest fan. If you're looking for a man, sugar, here I am. I'm tryna roll. I'm tryna ride.
지그재그로 움직인대.
누가?
척추라인에 맞춰서 움직인대.
누가?
누구긴 누가 엔모션 프로지. 척추를 지그재그로 틀어 꾹꾹 눌러주는 움직임. 누가의 시그니처 모션. 누가 베스트 엔모션 프로. 가까운 누가페에서 만나요. 의료기기 광고입니다.
Transforming our world. Navigating toward a better future. The great transformation begins right here in Busan through the 2030 Busan World Expo. Busan will set a new course toward a better tomorrow for the Earth and for humanity. So we need your support to start a new movement.
I support.
지지합니다.
I support. I support.
지지합니다.
I support. I support.
Busan, the city where you can experience nature, technology, and people. The one and only 2030 Busan World Expo awaits you.
See you right here in Busan.
See you right here in Busan. This campaign is brought to you by BFM 부산영어방송.
SNS 매너 권법을 익혀라. 조상권. 타인의 얼굴을 보호하는 스티커 매너 저작권. 합법적인 음원 체크. 이것이 SNS 고수의 매너 권법. 공익광고협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
꼬리에 꼬리를 무는 품격 있는 토크. 시끄러워 죄송합니다. 로라 민수의 인사이드 아웃 부산.
Welcome back, listeners. 7 o'clock here in the studio. Time for hour number 2 of our show, Inside Out Busan. I'm Min Soo-shin, by the way.
And I'm Melissa Peterson, here for Laura all week.
Yeah. So, Melissa, today we talked in the first hour about, I wanted to ask our listeners, when did you take your ID photo? So pull out your 주민등록증, your registration, your citizen residence card, or maybe even your driver's license,
Yes.
and look at your photo. And how much do you not recognize a person in that photo, right? We have a message that came in from 0859님. 한 번씩 주민증 보면 청춘을 돌려다오라는 노랫말이 생각납니다. 운전면허증은 몇 년마다 갱신을 하니까 그나마 지금 모습과 비슷한데 주민증은 젊은 오빠야 같네요. 맞아요. 저도 똑같아요. So I have my 주민등록증, right? My residence ID card. I took that as soon as I came here to Korea, 2010.
You don't have a new one?
Because I don't think that card expires. That's why. That's why a lot of people
really?
don't make a new one. 그래서 0859님, I know exactly how you feel. 네, 저도 그 사진 보고 이분이 어디 갔지라고 많이 생각이 듭니다. 1191 is saying 18년도에요. 잃어버려서 재발급 받았는데 지금과 상당히 비슷한 모습이에요. 게다가 친구가 거기 가서 사진 찍으면 조금 비싸도 예쁘게 찍어준다 해서 갔는데 과하지도 않고 모자라지도 않는 아주 만족스러운 사진이 나왔답니다. 지금의 저랑 똑같아요. So 1191님 took their photo back in 2018. Very pleased, very satisfied with how the photo came out.
Excellent.
And with the little slight touch up that they got, they're very pleased. So they're not set on changing it.
Oh, that's good news. That sounds like the message that came in on our Kakao Talk from Claire Neem, saying that the photographer made a little change, such as no wrinkles and pretty complexion. So I like it, but it's a little different from my real face. LOL. it's probably not that different
맞아.
from your real face.
살짝 다르면 뭐 어때요? But 살짝 다르면 for the better, right?
Yes.
Not for the worse. According to, of course, that's, what you think of yourself. Keep those messages coming in, listeners. We want to know, when did you take your photo for your ID? So we're going to start off the second hour with today's On the Mic.
네, 안녕하세요. 올리비아입니다. 오늘은 사진으로 소통하는 작가님을 만나기 위해서 제가 이곳에 왔습니다. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하십니까. 사진을 찍고 있는 김주찬입니다.
언제부터 사진을 찍으셨어요?
처음에 취미로 한 거는 2007년도부터고요. 일로서 한 거는 2010년도부터. 이제 한 13년, 14년 정도 됐네요. 사진이라기보다는 카메라를 먼저 접하게 됐고요. 형이 안 쓰는 필름 카메라를 제가 받으면서 처음에 카메라를 만지게 됐는데 그 당시에 그 카메라가 되게 오래된 카메라였어요. 70몇 년도, 80몇 년도에 만들어진. 그래서 지금처럼 뭐 자동으로 찍을 수 있는 그런 카메라가 아니었어서 오히려 수동을 하나하나 공부해야지 만질 수 있었는데 그러한 과정이 되게 재미있었고 그런 걸 자연스럽게 이제 습득하게 됐기 때문에 좀 더 사진에 좀 더 깊이 있게 들어갈 수 있지 않았나 생각을 합니다.
그러니까 사진을 찍어봤을 때 어떤 매력이 있었을까요?
지금도 여전히 생각하는 것 중에 하나는 사진 언어라고 생각을 하거든요. 결국에는 제가 얘기하는 하나의 수단이잖아요. 제가 생각이 바뀌거나 상황이 바뀌면 또 다른 것을 보게 되거나 또 다른 이야기를 할 수 있더라고요. 그래서 사진이라는 매체는 그대로지만 내가 세월이 흘러도 다른 이야기를 하거나 나의 관심사나 이런 것이 다 투영되기 때문에 계속해도 질리지 않겠다라는 생각을 했어요.
근데 그때는 내가 이게 업이 될 거라고 생각을 하셨어요?
아니요. 맨 처음에 할 때는 그렇게까지 생각하지 않았고요. 하다 보니까 이렇게 얘기하면 인터뷰는 미웠구나.
근데 그런 분들 많을걸요? 처음에는
그렇죠.
그냥 시작했다가
많은 사진 하시는 분들이 그럴 것 같긴 한데 취미가 업이 된 케이스이기도 하고요. 대학에 딱 들어가자마자부터 취미가 생기면서 엄청 열심히 하긴 했거든요. 이제 모든 남자라면 그러듯이 군대를 가게 됐는데 거기서 사진병이 됐습니다. 계속해서 이제 학교 다니면서부터 일을 병행하면서 지금까지 해오고 있습니다.
요즘은 사진을 찍을 수 있는 게 너무 많아졌잖아요.
그렇죠.
그럼에도 불구하고 진짜 카메라로 찍는 사진의 매력은 뭐가 있을까요?
용도가 다르다고 생각을 해요, 저는. 우리가 일반적으로 생각하는 미러리스나 DSLR 조작을 많이 하는 카메라의 가장 큰 장점은 내가 원하는 조작을 빠르고 편하고 정확하게 할 수 있다는 거. 그게 가장 큰 메리트라 생각하는데 어떻게 보면은 사진에 관심이 없는 분들한테는 마이너스적인 요소죠.
어려울 수 있을 것 같아요.
그렇죠. 그냥 이 상황을 남기고 싶거나 찍는 것이 좋아라고 한다면 핸드폰이나 스마트폰이 이런 것도 충분히 더 좋다고 생각을 해요. 조작을 많이 하지 않고도 일반적으로 괜찮다고 생각하는 사진이 나올 확률이 높죠. 프로세싱이라든지 이런 게 잘 되어 있기 때문에.
그럼 일하시면서 좀 가장 뿌듯하고 내가 정말 사진하기 잘했다라는 생각이 들었던 순간이 있어요?
첫 번째로는 내가 좋아하는 공간에 사진을 찍을 수 있는 기회가 생긴다거나 그게 나의 일이 된다거나 할 때 아주 좋은 것 같아요. 제가 어릴 때부터 밴드 공연? 이런 음악을 좋아했었는데 락 페스티벌을 찍었을 때 되게 좋았었거든요. 그게 제가 2008년도쯤에 처음 찍었었는데 그때는 정말 사진을 못 찍을 때였어요. 뭐 지금도 뭐 잘 찍는다고 하긴 그렇지만 지금 생각해보면 정말 못 찍을 때인데 그 사진을 찍는 그 순간에 밴드분하고 저하고 딱 둘만 있는 그 느낌이 들었어요. 뭔가 무라일체 같은 느낌?
다 아웃포커싱 되고.
네, 아무것도 존재하지 않는 느낌이 들었어요. 그때 되게 내가 좋아하는 공간에 와서 내가 좋아하는 것을 사진으로 찍으니까 참 행복하구나 라는 생각이 들었고요. 제가 표현하고자 하는 바가 잘 표현되면은 그 순간순간들이 기분이 좋은 것 같아요.
어떻게 하면 나의 이 본연의 모습을 카메라에 잘 담아낼 수 있을까? 팁을 좀 주세요.
좋은 조명을 찾는다. 그리고 자기 얼굴의 장단점을 파악한다. 셀카는 많이 찍어본 사람이 잘 찍어요. 다른 거를 찍을 때도 많이 찍어볼수록 늘듯이 셀카도 많이 찍으면 찍을수록 는다 생각합니다.
저는 작가님의 최대의 장점은 스냅도 가능하고 스튜디오에서도 촬영하시고
욕심이 많은 것 같기도 하고요. 제가 스튜디오에서만 시작한 게 아니고 필드에서 먼저 시작을 하게 됐는데 기업체라든지 이런 데 촬영하게 되면 프로필도 찍게 되고 자연스럽게 깊이 입하려고 하다 보니까 옆으로 더 넓어진 것 같기는 해요. 각자가 가지고 있는 매력이 다 있더라고요.
제가 잠깐 작품들을 봤지만 어떤 한 사람의 인생의 중요한 순간을 담는 것뿐만 아니라 부산의 소중한 순간들을 담아가고 있는 것 같아서 굉장히 뿌듯할 것 같아요.
그렇죠. 부산에 있는 크고 작은 축제라든지 기록적인 가치가 있는 것들을 기록하게 되면 사진하기를 잘했다라는 생각이 드는 것 같긴 해요.
부산의 그 역사의 한 페이지를 정말 찍고 있는 분이시잖아요.
그렇게 되길 바라고 있습니다. 그러한 기록들이 내가 일을 하게 되면서 자연스럽게 찍혀지기도 하는 거긴 하지만 제가 앞으로 어떤 것에 관심을 두고 어떤 방향으로 계속 일을 할 건지에 따라서 기록적인 것도 달라지게 될 거라서 좀 많이 고민도 해보고 어떤 데에 내가 관심 있는지 좀 더 진정성 있게 담을 수 있을지 이런 것도 좀 생각해 보면 좋을 것 같아요.
마지막으로 BFM 부산 영어방송 청취자분들에게 한마디 부탁드릴게요.
제가 생각하는 사진은 아까 언어라고 말씀을 드렸잖아요. 저처럼 직업적으로 하는 사람은 당연히 잘 찍은 충족되는 사진을 찍어야겠지만 그냥 나의 일상을 기록하거나 내가 얘기하고자 하는 바를 너무 그런 것에 스트레스 받지 않고 찍는다는 것 자체에 재미를 느끼면서 찍으신다면 좋을 것 같습니다. 화이팅!
Big Whiting, thank you so much to our reporter Olivia and to today's on the mic interviewee, Mr. Kim Ju-chan, who is a photographer.
Yes.
Right? Very fitting for today's topic as well. Because we're talking about taking
photography,
pictures.
yes.
Nah.
Not maybe we don't love getting our ID picture taken.
Yeah.
But usually photography is very nice.
Yeah, just taking pictures. I think this is a hobby like anybody can pick up. Because
Right.
everybody has a camera in their hands.
Yeah.
There's, most people in the world now have a smartphone and they all have cameras attached. But he mentioned that he's been working as a photographer for the past 13 years. That's quite a long time to, be doing anything actually. And he mentioned that he first started out back in 2007 when his brother gave him one of those film cameras.
Oh, those were so frustrating to try to actually load the film
Yeah.
without making a mistake. And then you take it out. And
Yeah.
if you expose the film, then everything is ruined. Those
Yeah.
are tricky.
Yeah, so I am from the film camera era. I remember I had a film camera. I used mine, which was originally my dad's, until I want to say my junior?
Long time ago?
Junior, senior year of high school.
Okay.
So like digital cameras, they were around, but they still weren't a thing.
And
right?
they were prohibitively expensive.
Oh yeah, they were,
right?
and there was like these big chunky things that took like 2 megapixel pictures anyway,
Right.
not the best quality. So everybody still stuck with their film camera.
Especially professional photographers.
Yeah.
They didn't want to change over.
맞아요, right? Because they thought, they didn't want to like usher in this new era because who knows which way that was going to go. But for him, he mentioned, that's how he started. And 2007, that's when like digital cameras started picking up. And I'm sure now with all the crazy technology that's available, right? I'm sure his skills and the quality of his photography has increased dramatically.
Yes.
And
right?
he mentioned photography was like a language to him. It was a means of portraying his thoughts, conveying his messages to his audiences. I love that. I never
Yes.
thought of that like when it comes to pictures.
And it's so beautiful. And I must say that I am not the best photographer, but I can see the difference, like most people, between like, oh yeah, that's a good photo, and like, wow,
Yeah.
it's an amazing photo. And coming to Korea, when I saw the photographer's works, I was just amazed. And so for my wedding, this is a weird thing for me. I really wanted to have wedding photos here in Korea because I had
Oh.
never seen such beautiful photos done before. And I just wanted an excuse
Yeah.
to go to the Korean photographer and have beautiful photos.
You mean the photos like that you have like at the front,
Yes.
of like your
The
whatever wedding hall,
gigantic framed ones, and then the
맞아요.
little photo book.
Yeah.
Because, I wanted an excuse to have beautiful photos. And when I brought those photos to America, everyone said, wow.
Wow, right, yeah.
It's amazing. It's like a magazine.
맞아요.
These are perfect. They're so beautiful. And I just love Korean photography skills. It's gorgeous.
Speaking of wedding photos, I remember we took ours in the middle of February.
Oh,
And we took
so
outdoor photos.
cold. Oh, your poor wife with
좀
like
힘들었어요.
wedding dresses
With the wedding dress
like
on and
short
everything.
sleeves
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
cold.
It was more traumatic than memorable for us.
Yeah.
He mentioned just how rewarding his job is, Mr. Kim Ju-chan, and he says because it gives him the opportunity to capture important moments in people's lives, right? As well, he mentioned shooting festivals and other events, so
Yes.
you could tell he enjoys his job. He also gave us tips because we're talking about, renewing our ID pictures.
Yes, that's very important. We need to know, how do we take a good picture, and how can we also be a good person to be photographed?
맞아요. So the one tip that I'm going to take to heart that he mentioned was you have to practice taking pictures of yourself, right?
Right.
저는 셀카를 잘 안 찍어요.
저도 똑같아요.
네.
진짜 잘 못해요.
저도 잘 못 찍고 사진에 나오는 얼굴도 보고 싫어해요.
You know, back when the selfie sticks were a thing, a lot of people, when you take the photo with the selfie stick, the selfie stick is not actually in your photo. For me, guess what? Always in the photo. That's how terrible
맞아요.
I am.
Like you have to angle it correctly where it's not in there.
I don't have time for that. I just want to take a photo and not with me.
우리 김주찬님이 그렇게 생각하면 안 된대요. He says you have to take your time, continue to practice, and then if you keep practicing, taking self picture 셀카, right? You eventually are able to take good photos, maybe in the studio. Who knows? Maybe even for your ID card, right?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I have confidence. I do practice taking pictures of others, just not myself.
맞아요.
Yeah.
Same here. But practice makes perfect, as they say.
Yes.
Thank you so much. That'll be today's On the Mic. Thank you to our reporter, Olivia. And thank you, Mr. Kim Chu-chan. Let's take a song break, why don't we? Speaking of taking pictures, this is Weezer, Photograph.
If you want it, you can have it. But you gotta learn to reach out there and grab it. 'Cause everybody wants some love. Shoot it from the stars above. And though my heart will break, there's more that I could take. I could never get enough. If you need it, you should show it. 'Cause you might play so monastic that you blow it.
Weezer with a Photograph. The time is now 7:16 here in the studio. Hour number 2 of Inside Out Busan. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Let's see what the weather and traffic is looking like. Shall we, Melissa?
Yes, we shall. How is the weather out there, Minsu?
All right. The weather, temperature-wise, 25 degrees our city is averaging. Tomorrow, expecting morning low of 21 and an afternoon high of 28. So mostly sunny skies tomorrow, but this is along with these scorching hot conditions because 28, pretty high.
Definitely.
Also, ozone levels will be in the bad, from tomorrow, specifically tomorrow afternoon. So if you are going to head outside tomorrow, make sure to put on plenty of sunblock. And if you can, avoid staying outside for extended periods of times. 내일은 맑지만 오후부터는 오존 농도가 나쁨 수준까지 오르겠습니다. 호흡기에 해로운 만큼 장시간 야외 활동은 피해 주시고요. what does the traffic look like?
So for traffic, we do have congestion to report. There's congestion on Gyeongbu Express from Gusa Interchange going towards Gumjeong Police Station. Also, there is congestion on Jungangdaero from Samyeon Junction going towards Gwangmugyo Bridge. Additionally, it is slow going out there on Gobun-ro from Yeonsan Tunnel going towards Yeonsan Junction. So if you are in your car driving right now, wherever you are going, please drive safe.
네, 꼭 부탁드립니다. A big hello to everybody on our YouTubes. We also have 우리 류 원장님 들어오셨네요. And he's very much in support of the vacant home tax that we mentioned in the first hour, right? 빈집세 찬성한다고 하네요. Well, thank you so much, 위상호님, for your input on that.
We also have, some messages coming in. Go ahead. What is E. Kelly-님 telling us in Kakao?
So, the monitor I'm looking at, the font's coming out really small. You want to read that for me? My eyes are giving out already.
Yes.
Not a good sign.
E. Kelly-님 saying, photography is like anything else. So this was from On the Mic. So what sets apart the professionals from the hobbyists to everyday people is the intent behind what they want to do.
Yeah. That's, I think you could relate that to, a lot of other things, but photography especially.
Right.
Like you could look at a photo, and it could be the picture of the same subject, a single subject. But you could tell how much effort is put behind by a professional photographer when taking a picture of a person, of an event, of a moment, right?
Right.
Yeah, so...
Very different.
Yeah, and Lee Kelly-nim also being a professional photographer himself.
Oh,
right?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Pictures are very pretty.
Extra weight then. We have one more message that came in from Hisuk-nim saying, this was about our question for today, our ID card, saying, I took my ID card photo when I was preparing for my trip to Japan, but it looks not good. That's so sad. You are not alone, Hisuk-nim. My passport photo is possibly the ugliest photo of me.
Don't
and
do that to
I have the joy of looking at it for the next 7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
I totally understand. Because I got the wrong size. And I didn't realize it until I was at the U.S. Embassy. And I had to take my own photo in that little photo booth.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
they have
bad.
they have a photo booth on site to use a picture.
Because I had gotten a nice photo from a professional Korean photographer.
Oh, 네.
And I didn't realize the size was wrong because America is, you have to have this different size. I didn't know. So, I took my own photo in a photo booth and the result was not good. So I totally understand. 희숙님, I share in your pain.
희숙님, 저도 곧 여권 사진을 찍어야 되거든요. Because I have to go on a trip in a couple months, right, to see my family in America, and my passport has expired. I need to renew it. So
you got to get on that.
Yeah, this is something I'm definitely going to. All the tips and all the happenings that people are sharing when it comes to their photos today, I'm keeping that all in mind.
You need to make a list
so I don't make the same mistakes.
Yes.
That
Learn from other people's mistakes. Yes.
I will. Thank you so much for all your messages. So it is Thursday, second hour of our show. Melissa, we have a time of healing for our minds and our souls coming up in just a bit with 마음 톡톡. Time for the Thursday second hour segment called Mind Talk, 마음 톡톡 시간입니다. And we have our resident therapist in the studio. We have Miss 오정아 원장님 안녕하십니까?
안녕하세요. Hello everyone. I'm happy to be back for this segment. This is 오정아 from Chicago Therapeutic Center, Chicago 심신치유 Center.
Thank you so much for joining us. And
Yeah, of
원장님,
course.
next to you, we have Melissa.
Yes.
Right,
you,
first time meeting each
Melissa.
other.
Great to see you. I heard you talk about especially your introduction a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've been listening, but we
Ooh.
haven't actually met in person. So it's nice to
okay.
actually see you here in the
Okay.
studio.
Thank you for listening, my story.
Yeah, so Melissa, this is a segment where I personally have been learning a good amount, like stuff about myself, stuff, I should be doing in terms of like relationships, right? Just last week, we talked about a very important issue when it comes to relationship at work, right? Which
Right.
brought up just a couple concerns just about myself. So it's a great time to, I think, like learn about yourself. 그냥 이게 제가 어떻게 생각하고 어떤 사람인지 생각하는 시간 너무 좋은 것 같아요. This time, right?
yeah,
so,
sounds good.
네, 원장님, thank you so much. So what are we focusing on today?
So there is a friendship issue to share today. Let's learn more about this with today's story.
I have been friends with Sarah. However, over the past few months, our friendship has taken a turn for the worse. When we make plans, she cancels at the last minute without giving any clear reasons. In addition to the cancellation, she often ignores my messages and calls. It feels like she's avoiding me or doesn't want to spend time together anymore. I miss the closeness we once had, and I'm not sure what to do.
Okay, so that was today. This is today's story.
So, all right. So let's refer to this writer as Mia. I'm sorry, Mia, to hear that you're going through such a challenging situation with your friend Sarah. It could be really disappointing, hurtful, and concerning, especially within a previously positive and bonded friendship. So, Minsu, let me ask you this:
Okay.
If you were Mia, what would you do in this situation?
Because it sounds like Mia and Sarah were pretty close friends, but this is something that happened suddenly. I think, I would continue to try to leave messages to say, is there anything going on? But then if there's continuously no messages,
Crickets.
but then I see maybe she reads my messages, right? And she is choosing to ignore me. 좀 솔직히 좀 마음 상할 것 같아요. I think I'd be a little sad.
So, how about you, Melissa?
So for me, it would depend on how last minute is the last minute cancellation.
Okay.
So like if I'm already at the designated meeting spot and then I get a call like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I would be so mad that Sarah was that disrespectful of my time that I'd stop contacting her. But if it was like several hours notice, then I could forgive her. But I would tell her, okay, you reschedule and you tell me when's good for you. And then if she didn't contact me back, then I would just give up.
이제 그냥 끊는 거, I guess that's no more. You and me.
Well, I mean, if I would feel like if you keep on sending messages, kind of what's the point? Because they just ignore me, and I'm a Libra. So with my zodiac sign, I use this as an excuse. Well, my zodiac sign is non-confrontational. So I don't want to be like, did I do something? Did I say? Because I don't want to risk fighting personally. So I would probably just give up. That's probably not what you should do.
Yeah.
I don't know. What should we do? What is the right thing?
Right. So before we talk about it, so I'd like to share there are 4 types of unhealthy interpersonal relationships. The first, avoidant, 회피형, people who avoid getting close to others due to trust issues or feel that human relationships are meaningless. So 회피형의 사람들은 타인을 신뢰하지 못하는 경향이 있어서 가까이 하지 못하거나 인간관계가 무의미하다고 생각하는 그런 유형을 얘기합니다. Second, superficial, 피상형. people who prefer shallow conversations or avoid deeper emotions. So P상형은 이제 표면적이고 이제 가벼운 대화를 추구하거나 깊은 감정들을 기피하는 유형들을 얘기를 합니다. Third, immature, 미숙형, people who struggle with their interpersonal skills, often leading to easily getting upset or engaging in arguments. 그래서 미숙형은 인간관계에 스킬이 부족해서 쉽게 화를 내거나 말다툼을 하게 되는 유형을 얘기를 하고요.
네.
So fourth, exploitative, 착취형, people who manipulate others for their own benefits or have a fear of abandonment. 착취형은 타인을 자신의 이득을 위해 조정하거나 또는 한편 또 타인에게 버림받을까 봐 두려움을 느끼는 유형이라고 볼 수 있습니다. 네. 그래서 민수 or Melissa, have you experienced any of these types of relationships?
Yes. We actually, yesterday, we were talking about toxic relationships, and one example was somebody who manipulates you, and that is exactly what you just said with exploitative. So, yes, I have a close family member who shall remain nameless, who is very much the exploitative, always the victim. Nothing is her fault. Everybody else does all the mistakes and causes all the problems, and she never ever contributed even a tiny little bit to make the problem worse. So yes, definitely.
저는 피상형 이렇게 관계를 좀 경험해 본 것 같아요. Right? So for me, superficial relationships. Because in the beginning, when you get to know people, most relationships are superficial relationships. It's then
the small talk.
맞아요.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of the times, I first thought it was maybe, am I not opening myself up to these people enough? But I later realized that because I did try to put in the effort to get to know the person more, right? To become a closer friend to the person. But they were not putting in the same effort as me. So they wanted to keep things just as is, and they don't want to get into deeper. So I've experienced superficial relationships that you just mentioned.
So it seems to me that this recent Sarah-Mia interaction falls under an avoidant relationship. So I'm not sure what made her to do that to Mia, though.
Yeah. Does it seem like Mia's afraid that she might lose her friendship with Sarah?
That's possible. So Mia might be relying too much on Sarah, so she could easily be hurt and overthinking Sarah's actions. So before we talk about how Mia can handle the situation better, it might be beneficial to ask reflective questions to understand one's emotions on a deeper level and the challenges in the friendship.
Yeah. So this is a part of the segment with you that these are questions that Sarah should think about, but also maybe for our listeners and us here in the studio, if we are experiencing any, situation like this, these are good questions to ask ourselves, right? So what are some of the questions for Sarah to think about? And once again, listeners can also follow along and ask themselves these questions.
Sure. So first, how have I contributed to the strained friendship, such as my own behavior and the communication towards Sarah? So 나의 행동이나 대화가 세라와 나의 사이에 껄끄러운 친구 관계가 되게끔 한 것인가? So second, have I clearly expressed my feelings and concerns without being confrontational? So 내가 세라에게 적대적으로 대하지 않고 나의 감정이나 고민을 적절히 표현을 했는가? Third, how important is this friendship to me, and am I willing to put in the time and energy to repair the friendship, relationship? So Sarah와 나의 관계가 얼마나 중요하고 우리 관계 회복을 위해 시간과 에너지를 기꺼이 쏟을 것인가? And fourth, am I prepared for the possibility that this friendship may not fully recover or return to how it used to be. 그 세라와의 관계에서 더 이상 회복이 되지 않거나 회복이 된다 하더라도 예전 같지 않은 관계에 대한 나의 마음의 준비가 되었는가. 네, 이런 걸 생각을 해보시는 게 좋겠습니다. So by reflecting on these questions, you can gain a deeper understanding of your feelings and circumstances.
Yeah, all really important questions, I think.
Right. It actually reminds me of an expression. I don't know who originally said this, but they said there are 3 sides to every story.
3?
Yes, your side, their side, and the truth. Because, you know, all of us, we naturally kind of maybe forget about things or leave out things. It could be intentional or it could be accidental. Maybe because to us, it wasn't important, but to the other person, it was so hurtful or rude or, you know, whatever it is. So, yeah, 3 sides. Your side, my side, the truth, somewhere in the middle.
Because especially in a situation like this, if you know, Sarah is not contacting Mia, then Mia, right, would have to think about and come up with situations in her head which might not be the truth.
Yes.
Right? And Sarah might be doing the same.
Right. Exactly.
So, 원장님, then what are maybe recommendations, advice that maybe you could give to Mia and maybe listeners in this situation?
Sure. I like to suggest some things that Mia or any of our listeners can do it in a similar situation. Maybe Sarah is going through a difficult time or facing challenges that Mia is not aware of. So it's important to consider if there are any reasons behind her recent actions. So she may not be comfortable to talk about it nor think that is the right time to tell you.
Yeah. So she might be going through difficult times, which, you know, makes sense, you know, her not, because it seemed like Sarah and Mia once again being okay, good friends to make plans with one another. But if she's going through something and she doesn't want to talk about it, you know, that might be what Sarah's going through. Then 원장님, what should Mia do next?
So Mia should find the right time and place to talk with Sarah where it's a quiet and private setting. But if Sarah doesn't want to meet personally, send her text message or handwritten letter. So nowadays, many people are more comfortable to communicate digitally, not a handwritten letter. Is a good way to show your sincerity and genuineness. So when you do that, it's essential to approach the conversation with a kindness and understanding. So let Sarah know that you've noticed a difference in your friendship and that is been bothering you. So share your feelings and concerns without blaming her. So Minso, as you said last week, you are not a confrontational person.
Oh, yeah.
So I like to suggest you practice speaking up. This time, imagine that you are Mia and Melissa is Sarah. So what would you say to her?
Okay, so if I had to...
Before you say anything to me, I would like you to take E. Kelly Neem's advice. Don't get angry.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Just move on. But in this case, you're going to practice.
Yes. But I don't think I would get angry. If I really 좀 솔직히 조금 짜증나고 화날 감정 있어도 if I do see Sarah, me personally, I don't think that, that anger would come out. But if I do have to practice, confronting Sarah about this, I would say, and if I do see her, I would say, Sarah, hey, I haven't spoken to you and it seems like, I've sent you many messages and, you weren't getting back to me. So, I'm not trying to, start anything with you. I don't know if you're angry at me. I would ask her.
My phone broke.
Oh.
I broke my phone.
Okay, but
I dropped it in the river.
Yeah,
Sorry.
But I also sent you emails, to try to get in touch with you.
My computer broke.
Your computer broke. Okay. So I don't really believe all those things can happen, all at once to you. But if it did, I'm very sorry to hear that. But
Are you sorry, Minsu?
이렇게 가면 저도 어떻게 할지 모르겠는데. But I would tell her, if she's really my friend, and if she's, and I do believe she's my friend, I would say, I don't know what you're going through, but just know that you probably have a situation, 상황이 있어서 you're not getting back to me. So you don't need to tell me anything right now or say anything, but just know that I'm, open to talking to you again.
Okay.
그렇게 말할 것 같아요, 저는.
Okay. So how's that for you to speak up to
그렇게
Sarah?
if saying that and me being put in Mia's situation, I mean, not so hard. 그렇게 어렵진 않을 것 같아요.
Alright.
But could that instance where I have to see her,
Yes.
right? And I have to 이렇게 말을 거는 그게
순간.
좀 어려워요. 근데 말 거는 순간 I think things start to roll and it's better. But it's me like 그 불편한 상황을 저는 처음에 좀 피할 것 같아요. I think I'm trying to avoid like that situation because I know it's uncomfortable between me and Sarah right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So the more you practice it, the more you will feel comfortable with it.
맞아요.
For sure.
Right. Just even in that little bit, me thinking about what to say to Sarah and actually saying it, that's giving me a little confidence.
Right. And there was a great tip that you brought up with the handwritten letter. I heard this many years ago from my brother. And he said, when you have to deliver like really bad or shocking news to somebody, you don't necessarily want to do it face to face all the time because then the other person also has pressure. They have, 2 seconds to react.
맞아요.
And their facial expression is maybe not what they want it to be. And so he recommended write it down, send a letter, and then follow up, maybe a week later. So they have some time to think about it and process. And you're not looking at them and, oh, you are judging me. Or, it's much more comfortable for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
좋습니다.
Yes.
Is there anything else that Mia should know? 원장님?
So remember that rebuilding a friendship takes time and patience. So know that the things will not immediately go back to how they were before. So the situation might improve with the time, effort, and genuine desire to make things work. So in the meantime, you should focus on your life and relationship with the people close to you. It might be a good chance for your friendship to become even stronger than before.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
I think that's very similar to what Lee Kellyanny mentioned. He says if it's not a sudden change, just let them go. Don't waste time on people who disrespect you.
Yes.
I guess because you're focusing so much on Sarah, you might neglect other relationships, right? Then how should we go about maintaining healthy friendships?
Excuse me.
No, it's okay.
Sometimes the people are expecting their friendship to be really open and want to know everything in their lives. So in a friendship, we need to understand and respect each other's personal space, feelings, and privacy. And so it's like giving each other room to breathe and being careful not to push someone to share more than they are comfortable with. So when we communicate openly and ask for permission, so it helps create a safe and trusting environment in our friendship. So we should remember boundaries in a friendship are important for making sure everyone feels valued and respected.
Yeah, because you mentioned boundaries. This is a message that you've been sharing with our listeners and, me and Laura here in the studio for the past couple of weeks, right?
Right. So means you have a good memory.
Thank you.
As a reminder, boundaries refer to the physical or emotional limits we set for ourselves in our relationships and interactions with others.
Yeah. So important, I think.
You have to know what your boundaries are.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what they are or what they should be, keep listening to this segment or self-help books. I know some people think, that's really cheesy or corny, or they're called self-help for a reason. They are helpful to give you some ideas of what boundaries should be.
맞아요.
Right.
Yeah. 원장님, we have 박재영님 on our YouTube saying 유익한 정보입니다. 재밌어요. 울지 마세요라고 문자 왔는데 아마 아까 저한테 제가 미아라고 생각하고
네네.
그거 confront라고 했잖아요.
Oh, yes.
네. 근데 저 아마 좀 목소리 좀 떨리는 소리 들렸나 봐요. 박지영님이. 그래서 울지 마세요라고 하네요. 안 울어요. 네, 이게 연습으로 했습니다. 박지영님. 절대로 울지 않았습니다. All
You
right.
did a good job, though.
Well, thank you so much. See, even compliments like this will encourage me to, be a bit more, I guess to be able to speak my mind more to people.
Right.
네, 좋은 시간이었습니다, 원장님. Thank you so much. That'll do it for today's 마음 톡톡. We look forward to next week's segment. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll see you next Thursday then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
네, 감사합니다. This is Sarah Bareilles, Many the Miles.
There's too many things I haven't done yet. There's too many sunsets I haven't seen. You can't waste the day wishing it'd slow down. You would have thought by now I'd have learned something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I made up my mind when I was a young girl. I've been given this one world. I won't worry it away, no. Now and again I lose sight of the good life. I get stuck in a low light. Then love comes in. How far do I have to go to get to you? Many the miles, many the miles. Oh, how far do I have to go to get to you? Many the miles. Ooh, send me the miles, and I'll be happy to follow you, love. Do what I can wherever I end up to keep giving my good love and spreading it around, yeah. 'Cause I've had my fair share of take care and goodbyes. I've learned how to cry, and I'm better for that. So how far do I have to go to get to you? Many the miles, many the miles. Oh, how far do I have to go to get to you? Many the miles. Ooh, send me the miles, and I'll be happy to. Yeah. Red letter day, I'm in a blue mood. I'm wishing that blue would just carry me away. I've been talking to God, don't know if it's helping or not, but surely something has got to give. 'Cause I can't keep waiting to live. How far do I have to go to get to you? Many the miles, many the miles. Oh, how far do I have to go to get to you? Many the miles. Ooh, but send me the miles, and I'll be happy to. Yeah. Many the miles, many the miles. Oh yeah, yeah. I have to go, many the miles, many the miles. I've been talking to God, don't
안녕하세요. 고품격 영어 방송 Inside Out 부산의 품격 있는 writer Steve입니다. Winners of Inside Out Busan listeners participation segment will get full course meal voucher from Golden Lizzie, a gourmet restaurant in Gyeonggi-dong and Yeonsan-dong, where you can taste cuisine from Michelin Guide featured Chef Kim. 미슐랭 셰프의 파인 레스토랑 골든 리지에서 10만 원 외식 상품권. A place to entertain your brain and eyes. Museum of Illusions. 당신의 눈과 뇌를 즐겁게 하는 곳. 뮤지엄 오브 일루전 부산 착시미술관 입장권. 언제나 맛있는 커피를 신선하게 만드는 양산에 위치한 인투 로스터리. Coffee voucher and a pack of fresh coffee whole beans sponsored by Into Roastery in Yangsan. A delicious brunch for two from Gorilla Brewing Busan, Gwangan branch, the leader of Korean handmade beer culture. 수제 맥주 전문점 고릴라 브루잉 부산에서 제공하는 식사권. We prepare admission tickets for the Busan X the Sky Top Floor Observatory, which is located at LCT in Haeundae, the highest place in Busan. 부산 대표 랜드마크 해운대 LCT에 위치한 하늘 위의 바다. 부산 X the Sky 전망대 입장권을 선물로 드립니다. IOB와 함께하는 품격 있는 선물. It's all yours, listeners.
Time for the last final segment of Inside Out Busan for the day. It is time for quote unquote. So we get to bring you some encouraging, inspiring, thought-provoking, I don't know, make you angry quotes sometimes. We haven't had an get angry quote yet.
Today's quote will not make you angry.
Okay.
It will make you happy.
Oh, okay. So you brought today's quote.
I did. It's my turn to choose the quote. And I love this quote because it actually kind of goes against a different, much more famous quote.
네.
So here it is. It's possible to make no wrong moves and still lose.
It's possible to make no wrong moves and still lose.
Yes.
I believe it.
Right? It's kind of along the lines of stuff happens.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's kind of the anti-statement to the very popular everything happens for a reason, right? And I know that saying frustrates a lot of people, right? Like, I stubbed my toe. Everything happens for a reason. I forgot my dry cleaning. Everything happens for a reason. And this one is saying, just because something bad happened to you doesn't mean you made a mistake. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It doesn't, it just, that is life. And life is not always that great.
Yeah.
Right?
You could have everything going for you. You could line up everything correctly, right? But maybe it just wasn't, it doesn't, I guess it could matter to some people, but regardless of religion or,
Mm-hmm.
whatever type of philosophy that you have, it just wasn't time.
Yeah, there's no perfect life, right? And I just love this also because, there are so many things in life that it's just bad things sometimes happen to good people. And if you're in a very unfortunate situation, some people might try to blame you, but don't let them blame you because it doesn't mean it's your fault.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think of the examples like you eat all the organic food, take all the vitamins, do all the yoga or, whatever exercise is trendy, but you could still get sick. Right? It's possible to make no wrong moves and still lose.
Yeah.
Right? Or like you're a top performer at work, but you're still cut from your position in a bad economic situation.
Yeah.
Right? It's possible to make no wrong moves and still lose.
맞아요.
Not everything that happens to you is because of you.
I'm reminded, so my father-in-law, around every winter time, he brews this special tea
Okay.
that he makes. And it's like a mix of what did he put in it? He puts like ginger, honey.
Okay.
I forgot it was either oranges or grapefruit, one of them.
Okay.
And he swears by this. He swears by this tea that he drinks. And, you know, in Korea, they have that, what do you call those things that you keep like cooking for a very long time?
Like some kind of slow cooker.
Yeah, slow, like he puts he brews it in his slow cooker, and he swears by it because he drinks it during the winter time, especially,
Okay.
and he says
Like
it coats his throat.
Yeah, helping the throat.
And it's been keeping him from catching colds.
Oh.
Right? And he swears, like I said, he swears by it for the past good 8 years since he's been doing it. He said he's never gotten cold, especially in the winter season.
Okay.
But it's just recently that he has never changed his routine. But now, you know, maybe I don't want to say old age has kicked in for him, but you know, his immune system is not how it used to be, and he got a cold, and he got a pretty bad one this past winter, right? So
it applies.
it
The
applies,
quote
yeah. No matter
applies.
how well you prepare yourself, just the universe had other plans for you.
Yes.
Should you be, you know, shaking your fist at the sky?
Angry.
Yeah.
I think it feels so good to have this kind of quote just to know I didn't do anything wrong. There was nothing I could have done.
Yeah.
You know, make no wrong moves but still lose. It happens.
Yeah.
It is not your fault.
Exactly.
There's nothing you could have done.
Yeah.
That is just life.
Yeah.
Welcome to Earth.
I like that because a lot of people start playing the blame game. And
too many people.
when it comes to things like relationships, when it comes to things like, you know, careers, jobs, a lot of the blame game, they put it on themselves.
Always.
And that's such a very unhealthy thing to do, I think.
Yes, we're so hard on ourselves
Yeah.
and unnecessarily so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that quote. So a bit of a picker-upper for maybe some people who think that things aren't going, you know, so well for them, you know, right now, and they might be thinking maybe it's me. You know what? Sometimes it's not.
Yes,
It's
it is
sometimes-
not always your fault.
That's life, and sometimes that's, you know, what the universe and how the universe rolls, and I guess just on to the next one.
Yep, just
Right.
gotta keep rolling with the punches, as they say.
All right. Well, very encouraging quote that you brought for our listeners today. Melissa, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
And that'll do it for today's show. Listeners, thank you so much for hanging out with us these past 2 hours, right? We do want to let one of our special listeners know that they are today's gift receiver.
Drum roll.
Congratulations, Claire Neem. Claire Neem, you are a receiver of one of the fine gifts that we give here at Inside Out Busan. We will get in touch with you, okay? Melissa, another day, another show. We'll be back tomorrow, though, right?
Yes, we will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is my last day here filling in for Laura. Remember, I'm a special edition.
맞아요.
So please do tune in.
Yeah. Inside Out Busan was produced by Kim Yoon, written by Im Soo-jin. I was your host, Min Soo-shin.
And so was I, Melissa Peterson. We
Our
will
last-
see you tomorrow.
Our last track by Priscilla on This Is Dream. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Left in my pretty bed of green, I had a dream that I could fly from the highest swing. I had a dream. Long walks in the dark through woods grown behind the park. I asked God who I'm supposed to be. to say about this life I'm willing to leave.
부산을 한 장의 사진에 담는다면 어디로 가야 할까요?